All right, so that brings us to the Les Schwab Tire region, where we've got the 2014-2015 team, this year's team, against the 99-2000 team. There's 15 years age difference. I'm telling you that it'd be hard to compete against those young guys. So we've got this year's team with Karnowski, Wilcher, Wesley, Pangos, and Bell, Sabonis off the bench against the 2000 team with Dench, Calvary, Nilsson, Santangelo, and Fromm.
Wow.
Are we going to get Nilsson and Hart in the second round? What do you guys think? This year's team shooting 53% from the field, which is scorching, and giving up only 38%. It's got to be the biggest difference between offense and defense.
I'll say this, Matt can still dunk, so they might be able to do it a little
might
bit.
be all right.
Yeah, Casey Calvary's probably still in pretty decent shape.
Wait, Matt can still
Yeah,
dunk?
Richie can still shoot.
He just did on Saturday. We're in Moraga.
I remember him dunking in that.
Yeah, he's yeah. So
Well, they're smaller.
That's a
shorter,
group.
hoop-fast baskets.
With the volleyball. Yeah.
Boy, I'm gonna let somebody else answer.
Jim,
I'm
what do
gonna
you
make
think?
either Matt mad or
Do you see weaknesses in
Cover
this year's
Matt.
team? I guess that's the place to start. Could this team lose?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect team.
Yeah.
Even Calipari has complained about Kentucky and what they're not
Yeah.
doing right, but it is a pretty complete team. And it's a team that scores at all 5 positions, inside, outside. Most of the guys hit free throws, and I just think their experience. Looking at all older players, all guys who've played in big games, big arenas. And Gary Bell and Kevin Pangos have been there forever.
Yeah.
So I think there are fewer holes in this team
Yeah.
compared to most of the teams that have made it on this list, and maybe more topside. I mean, this team has the potential to not only go to a Final Four, they could do more than that.
Yeah. So Jeff, sometimes I think people will say that if you have too much balance, you don't know who's going to take the last shot. People say, who's going to take the last shot in this team? Is that just something non-basketball players say? Is there something to be said for a team like this that had someone like Santangelo, you know the ball's going to be in his hand, he's going to look for Fromm on the outside and Calvary on the inside?
I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, I would rather have 7 great players
Than 4.
than 2 or 3.
Yeah, right.
To state the obvious, I think that it's all about leadership, and you have so many players. All of a sudden, you can start exploiting matchups, which I think is huge. Whether it's a guy that's hot tonight and has got a great matchup based on schematically what the defense is doing, I just think there's so many different options. And I absolutely love this year's team. I'm convinced that they have the ability and the pieces there, and the teamwork, blending all these different talented guys together. Conversely, 99-2000, there's some ballers on that team.
Yeah.
Right? Guys that can flat play, and we're tough as nails, and we're kind of the bedrock of what this program's become. And that's what is so hard about doing these 16 teams, or how many great teams there are. And between Richie Fromm and Santangelo and Nielsen and Calvary and Dan, those are really, really good players. And off the bench, you got Ryan Floyd, who was an underrated. I think he dropped 30 on UCLA.
Yep.
And Zach Gordon and Spank. And Spank was one of the all-time best glue guys.
Yeah.
At 172 pounds or whatever he weighed, playing against Mark Madsen and just finding a way to go get it done. So that was a really good team. I just think this year's got so much more talent.
Yeah.
I would certainly probably vote towards a younger team.
I got here in 1997, and that was around the time the Zags really started to fly. And, all these guys are household names, so it's really hard to choose which is better. I would just say that I've never heard more buzz like I have this year with the 2014. I know that every single television station here in town is probably wondering how big they're going to do Zags this year, because we're all projecting they'll go a lot further. So I'm going to stick with this year's team because they look good.
I like the enormous confidence of the 2000 team.
Yeah.
They just made the run to the Elite Eight the year before.
Yeah.
And those guys, and everyone thought, okay, not everyone, but most everyone thought flash in the pan, that's it for these guys. And they had absolutely no doubt that they were going to go at least this far again. I mean, I remember going into the locker rooms at the NC2As and Casey Calvary just kind of shaking his head at me like, why are you at all surprised? The confidence was
It's
you know.
half confidence, half chip on their shoulder.
Well, I think there's still some of that, yeah, too, and I like and it kind of went along with the '99 team, but the 2000, the way these guys really blossomed, I think, as people. I like that a lot too. You know, I remember talking to Matt Santangelo, and he seemed kind of quiet, you know, during the season, and you know, a bit of teeth pulling to get him to talk about things. And you know, and he and Casey are up on the dais at these SC2A events, and they've got people in stitches. It was remarkable to watch him kind of come out that way.
But if they're playing a game, I think the question for me is, can you play 5 guys 40 minutes? Or is there going to be foul trouble?
Right.
You know, because I think that's the one thing as I go back and forth that maybe sways you is this year's team has a little more depth, right? I mean, you know, if Axel and Casey get into foul trouble, I mean, Zach had a good freshman year, but if we're going to go Zach versus Sabonis, I mean, if you're getting, you know, first bigs off the bench, I don't know. But boy, those guys were tough. And that was the thing, I think, Jess, you said, I mean, the chip on the shoulder and the, you know, still people not believing in them and just the supreme confidence, I think was the combination, was that we're just, you know, Matt tells me this stuff all the time, just, you know, nobody thought they could do it. You know, I mean, these guys, a lot of them weren't highly recruited. A lot of them, you know, shoot, 2 of them weren't recruited. You know, I think Ryan Floyd's only other offer was to Eastern back, you know, then when Eastern wasn't really rolling. You know, so you had a lot of guys who really had that chip and played great as a team together. You know, that's the other thing that I think those guys truly enjoyed playing basketball together, you know, back before it got all this big, you know, so.
There's a good chance if we pick the 15 team that Santangelo and Fromm will suit up and try to play them out. They still have the chip on their shoulders.
Yeah. How about the memorable win of 2000, right?
Yeah.
At number 11, UCLA.
Yeah.
By 16. And
Yeah,
it
holding
was-
to 43.
And it wasn't that close. As
No,
I remember that game,
no.
it was 20-25. It was like
Yeah.
the largest loss that UCLA had ever had for a non-league game.
Yeah.
You know, it was started the era of we will play anybody, anywhere, just
Yeah.
give us a chance on your schedule and we are not afraid. And I think that was what, you know, the big part of chip on the shoulder,
Yeah.
us against the world, that's what got this thing to where it's become. It's such a big part of it.
Plus they had Axl Rose, which I think they have to give them an advantage. You know? All right, let's vote. This year's
man.
team versus the team, Mark Few's first team, the 99-2000 team. Who gets the nod in coaching? That's what I want to know. I know, I'm killing you. Just remember, this is the most important thing you've ever done.
Don't screw this up.
And just remember, you're not getting any sleep
All right,
tonight,
let's
so
see
you
some
stay here or go
That's
home.
true.
Let's see some votes. 3 for today's team and 2.
Oh.
Wow. John, we almost pulled off
Much
the upset.
closer.
Wow,
I think
that's
that's how
the
close that one would
closest.
be,
That's
too.
like double overtime.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got the 2014-2015 team from the Les Schwab Tire League.